Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be checking out another couple of episodes of Mawaru Penguindrum. Very excited to be continuing Ikuhara's wild, amazing ride with penguins. It's like some kind of water slide or something, I don't know. Either way, we're back. It's another week, 2 more episodes. Let's just get rolling. YouTube comments, let's pop over there. Got a little bit of supplementary material to go into with these comments here, of course, so which way was it? Yeah, that way? Yeah, okay, let's go that way. Let's start here. That's where I wanted to start with Lazy Joe's comment first and foremost, because I think this comment up here, the second one here today, will lead on to some other discussion and lead me into some summarization of the previous episodes. Continuing here with our Utana references, of course, Ringo's plans getting foiled by a skunk and a snake is definitely sending big Nanami vibes. What additional animal hijinks await us in the future? Only time will tell. Yeah, again, I went into it last week. I think there's a ton of connections between Nanami as a character and Ringo as a character, and again placing this a little bit more in her point of view as opposed to an adversary, which Nanami was for a lot of it, is a difference, I think, right? Again, if we're going to continue to associate these two characters, we're going to continue to look at Nanami. What was Nanami? Nanami was naive. Nanami was outwardly protective of certain things that she grew to resent by the very end of the show. Like, she changed over time. And a lot of that coincided with her growing up, and themes about her growing up as well. I'm just thinking about some of the really poignant moments during her character arc, and that kind of stuff, and it kind of makes me emotional still. It's really good. So if we're going similar directions here with Ringo, I think that's only a good thing. Again, you could argue that Ikuhara is retracing his footsteps a little bit, but again, if it's good, I think. And I'm happy we said this as well. So the VAs for the 4 main characters were all new talents at the time. I specifically know one of those voice actors is quite big now. But yeah, the secondary cast, in kind of contrast, was full of heavy hitters. If we go back through here, we have Tabuki Sensei, played by Akira Ishida. So if we go over here, I've got the mouths open. So if I hit a button, one of them, yeah, that'll do. Probably something similar to this. I was familiar with all but none of but one of the voice actors, if I could speak. But yeah, they've all played various really famous roles, as Mal likes to do. It prioritizes shonen first and foremost. So you have this Naruto character here, Gaara, sure, we're going to go with that. And then, yeah, going to a Gintama character, and then, Kaoru from Evangelion, sure. A few more other interesting ones there, of course. Yeah, more shonen, Bungo Stray Dogs. A bit of Persona 3, if you don't mind. Fairy Tail, Danganronpa. Oh, Byakuya. Okay, sure. Yeah, clearly famous VA. Bit of a nerdy vibe to the characters overall, maybe? Less so. Just very versatile, maybe. Next up, we have the character of Yuri, who's played by Mamiko Noto. Kimi ni Toroke, the main character there, which I have not seen, but he is quite good. Sure. Bit of a shonen connection, bit of a shoujo connection there, maybe. But Kotomi from Clanad, sure. Fairy Tail, Monster, sure. Bit of a difference there. A few other ones here. Yeah, she's thereabouts, sure. Mika from Girls und Panzer, a fan favorite character to be sure. And some more Persona 3, interestingly enough as well. Who in Fate? I don't even know who that is, so that shows how much Fate I did. Next up, we have Ringo's dad, which is Fumihiko Tachiki, sure. Again, more shonen stuff, some Bleach, some Gintama, of course. But most importantly to me personally, hey, it's fucking Gendo Akari, everybody. Oh my god. So Ringo's dad being Gendo Akari, read into that however you will. The other one I saw down here, which is another dad character as well, if I can find him, is Senjo Gahara's father from Monogatari. So again, read into that how you will. Is this another father character from Three Guts and a Lion? Read into that how you will. That's all very funny. Plays all the really good dads. That's good. Actually, yeah, Senjo Gahara's dad actually is good. I had some theories that he wasn't there for a long time during the reactions, which was fun. And of course, rounding us out, I think we have the father of our main trio, specifically in episode 5 was there. That Takakura, is that the last name? I believe it is. The Kenzan? That sounds correct as well. I didn't hear it, and normally when it's Takehito Koyasu, you hear it because it's fucking Dio, so of course you're going to hear it. But yeah, again, surely I don't need to go through this guy's CV, one of the most famous voice actors ever, and specifically here, there you go. Very important character in Utana. So yeah, shoutouts to Torga, I guess. And by the very end, he's kind of a cool guy in the movie, though. That was kind of cool. And again, I'm pretty sure that Yui Hori is in this show as well. And I'm pretty sure it's Natsume. So keep an eye on that. Again, was less famous at the time. Hugely famous now for a variety of roles. Just off the top of my head, fucking Hanakawa from Monogatari, as well as Fruits Basket. Oh my god. Honda? What's her name? Toru? Something like that? Yes, it was, as well as, yeah, another couple of rom-com characters here and there. So, shout-outs. I like talking about voice actors if you haven't noticed. And our last comment here today from BPBML98. Something you missed that you might find interesting is what's on the back of Dad's jacket during the hospital scene between him and Kanba. Now, I have got that scene up, and I did get a couple of other comments when episode 2 and 3 went live on YouTube, which were like, hey, there's a bunch of penguins on everything. Isn't that weird? I'm picking it up, guys. I'm picking it up. Specifically here, I believe that a comment said that there's different kinds of penguins on things as well. So that's something I didn't pick up, but maybe I'll keep an eye on it now. So again, he's got a penguin on his jacket. Isn't that weird? They've got like these fucking shot put things. Not shot put. What am I talking about? They're like ping pong balls, and they have penguins on them. That's what Natsume has. It's really weird. There's like packaging for certain products that have penguins on them too. It's all very strange. It's all, you know, you just got to think about it a little bit. I don't know. And again, she's very bald here. What the fuck? I guess she's really bald all the time anyway. Sorry, I got distracted. No, the penguins are important, and I'm picking it up. Gotcha. Maybe not to the level I'm supposed to, but again, that's a little bit of meta knowledge, and I don't really want to know about it anyway. Either way, let's do a bit of setup broadly, because that was kind of the flashback, the last one we saw, which kind of informs this really important character moment for Kanba, right? It's essentially, no matter what, you got to do what you got to do to protect your family. That's what he's taking from this, and again, he's putting that into practice in real life by taking shady money, taking a shady loan to keep the family together, specifically to keep his sister there, you know, permanently, as opposed to, I think they were going to move her in with somebody else because of the medical care that she needs or something, and they were going to give up the house and basically split up the family. He's going to do what he needs to do to keep them together. Contrast that with Shorma, who now twice has kind of, you know, left her to essentially die while staying back at home and just kind of waiting for somebody else to take action. Is that formative for him as well? Again, this large association with the mother and the father there respectively. We got Ringo going on. I think she has major daddy issues, but again, that's simplifying what's going on there, I think, as well. Specifically here, we did an art reference, which Discord kind of clued me in on as well. It's The Kiss by Gustav Klimt. Sure. And apparently it is a profound expression of love, sensuality, and the human spirit. Why are we depicting one as kind of Ringo's dad and one as Ringo? That's a bit odd. And again, taking the glasses off, is that also Tabuki and that kind of association between the father and Tabuki? It's a bit weird. I don't know. We're just keeping an eye on it. It's not the first time this show has mad incest in it, so keep it in mind, I guess. Yeah, so that's broadly what's going on with the main characters. Natsume is also being weird as fuck about Kanba for reasons which will become known to us a little bit later on. I think we just watched the episodes. We've got a pretty good grasp of what's going on here, I think. Of course, we shan't forget the Discord. If you want those episodes 1 week early, you can access the Discord at your leisure and go and watch them. I don't know, $6 a month. There's also, again, there will be a poll on the channel relatively soon for a Flip Flap as replacement. Look forward to voting in that and having double votes if you're a patron. Many people have done this, up to and including Mickey Babbers, Trials++, Akomancer, /Bananarama Hamadama Sama, Bobbin, Trevor Ribby, Dapper Dwarf, Domobot, Ichu, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fried Rice, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Ika, Iria, Yanko Yavanen, Jacob R, Joran, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Lou, Master Detective, Max, Mistake L Chen, Mr. Maniacs, Need, Panic, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashingo, Runlad BNK, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Voiko, Without a Net, Yuan Kai Shu, Yuki Ali, Zach, Binshi, Hans Peter, Marsh, Voodoo Chili, and Rantiki. Thank you to all those people for giving me money. I enjoy the money. And yeah, without any further ado, let's jump into episode 6 of Mawaru Penguindrum right now. Rightio, I have episode 6 of Mawaru Penguindrum up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 43 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy here, of course. I'm using the DB file set, so sync up with that copy if you have it. If not, there'll be a picture-in-picture version in the description below. Let's just give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. Seems like we're in Ringo's room again. She's sleeping. Breathing deeply. Wedding night. Maybe a bit of a... yeah. Breathing deeply. The fuck is Project M? Okay. I think that's what's happening there is better left unsaid. But something about a wedding night with Tabuki? And reading the diary. And doing something else. Anyway, the focus on the cap and the otter there as well, which is represented either parent for her as well, and that kind of look at the union between her parents, who are now split up. Okay, a lot going on. A lot going on. It's extremely Ikuhara. And I almost felt at some points in Utana that Ikuhara had to, like, tone it down a little bit and leave it subtextual, where it seems like we're moving away from that here and now. Again, maybe an incorrect assumption we'll say as we continue, but... my mind is fried already. I don't even know how I'm going to continue making the video. Anyway. Focus up. Apple. Penguin. Princess. Bed. Alright, we're back at the hospital. She's got amnesia? Yo. Amnesia bullets. Huh. Who the fuck texted him? Okay, that's maybe like an inverted penguin from the one that was on the back of Kamba's dad's jacket. What's today's slogan, everybody? Watch out for traps, sure. She will beat you up, too. Which is marriage, right? But it could be something else that could be playing with that. Oh, I love that door. Top 10 doors. There's so much happening. Why are we moving out? Huh. Interesting nicknames. family, huh? What is bro eating? Okay. Is she taking her bed to his place? Not suspicious at all? Of course it is. That sounded really suspicious. Ugh. So these are the other two. That was like hiding behind her. I mean, correct. Well, I'm pretty sure I know who's aiming that thing. What, right in front of him? She's cool, though. She's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty sure I knew how it worked. Does it need to be between the eyes? Maybe. Find some cover, bro. What? Why? Oh, because it's your penguin, right? Of course. He's losing his mind? Sick. So that's going to happen to you pretty soon, yeah. Sick. And that's what happens when it like pops or whatever, right? And then it leaves like the wrapper on the floor. Yeah, like that. Like bird poo. Oh my god. Kamba, you're gonna have to help me out, buddy. I don't know what all this means. Did that? Did the diary say Project M today? Because if so, then it's not gonna be you, little bro. It's gonna be the other girl. What the fuck is happening? What happened? Why is bro drinking Kewpie Mayo? Also, what happened to her? Why? Yeah, I know. I know they split up. Who the fuck is Momoko? What is happening? She did indeed open her eyes. There we go. Okay. Whatever you say. Why? Okay. Am I stupid? Who the hell's Momoko? Sister? What happened to Momoko? Yeah, okay, when he had curry day. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this scene we've seen before. Oh. Whoa. Oh. Oh. Uh. What? Who the fuck is Momoko? Well, why is she? Okay. Am I gonna have to explain? Okay, hope not. Yeah. Okay. Schrodinger. That in combination with the fate stuff. Yeah. Okay. Whoa. Project M. Is that the excuse we're going with? Is he drinking mayonnaise? Yeah. Yeah? Uh huh. Yeah. Or had. Yeah. Well, this is making me dizzy. No, I'm like leading that way. Ah! Salad. Holy fuck, this episode's been weird as hell. This episode's the weirdest episode so far. I kind of got comfortable with the show. Nope. Between that, the kind of sniper scene and all the penguin stuff there, and then Momika and the diary. But then the diary's the Penguindrum, right? I thought it was. So does that mean that all the diary stuff is involved with Momika somehow? I think it's just me. I know. Penguindrum. He's currently being assassinated. Weasel Knievel? Okay. Maybe I need to look up the Japanese pun there. That was kind of fucking crazy. Let her bone you. No. What if no? Yeah, but they're gonna like forget him or whatever. Dare? Yeah. Interesting. Where's the proverbial grassy knoll, everybody? Whoa! She's on the train. She's going insane? Put her in a mental hospital. Oh. Proper scary person. What are you going to be doing down there to... Okay. That's terrible. Anyway. She needs mental help. Bad. Oh, Momoko. Okay. Not Momoko. Natsume. Yeah. The end of the world? Okay, so that's where that comes into it. And you know about Project M as well. So who the hell was Momoko? Who? Yeah, what was Momoko up to? And why did Momoko have to die? And lots of stuff. Okay. I will have no shortage of things to talk about for that episode. Probably the best episode thus far. Yeah. Definitely the one that's made me think the most about various things. Yeah. Kind of this idea of like Ringo projecting all of her sister's wants and the trauma about the death of her and the trauma felt by those around her and the trauma felt by Ringo herself because of the shattering of the relationship of her parents. She's putting all that into this diary and accomplishing the things in this diary to make the world right again in her own weird, twisted way. Again, invoking the idea of a ring, a circle, the world, marriage, lots of ideas there. She needs therapy, I think. Like a lot of it. You don't need to be doing any of that shit, but she feels like she has to. Again, I'm pretty sure on some level she does like Tabuki, but also it's like, I'm just kind of doing this because my sister and him were close. It just makes it all very odd. And then I'm seeing a lot of that in the way that kind of Kamba and Shorma reflect their parents. Like she almost reflects her sister, you know? Weird. Yeah, we must remember that Tabuki also has like a girlfriend wife. So sure. Oh, trapeze. Is that even trapeze? It's like acrobatics. And yeah, much like I have been doing, I think I'm just going to jump straight into episode 7 and yeah, have a look. Why not? Rightio had episode 7 of Mawaru Penguindrum up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 41 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. Yeah, same as last time, DB file set, picture in picture in the description below. Let's have a little bit of a look. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, we're still here. He's got egg pajamas. Oh, is this a different day? So you're continuing to just like fool your parents into thinking that you're... Okay, you got caught. Interesting. Pretty sure it does. Wait, what? Okay. Hidden bugs. What? To you say? Odd. So the bugs hiding there, I think, indicated that she wasn't telling the entire truth there. There was something hidden behind those words that was a little bit more nefarious, and we're in the process of figuring that out. Again, I would have imagined that Project M, where she keeps saying marriage, meant marriage, but it's not what she says. Weird. And again, has she like read ahead? Like, is she allowed to? I guess so. I guess she knows the end of the diary. But then why is Hamari important? Is it because they visited the aquarium too? We must remember that that seems like a pretty important thing here with the aquarium. Also, I don't know my penguins, but that's a different like kind of penguin. So maybe I should look into that. Because we have like the rock hopper. Is that like an emperor penguin or something? Potentially. Oh, we're going to the theater. 2 tickets is in 2 tickets or 2 extra tickets? Yay! The pearls are an interesting touch. Oh, I see. Funny. Nice deep voice. Oh. Okay. Still pretty clearly about French Revolution. Disco. Why not? uh, Paris. Rose petals. It's like a big group number. Hell yeah. Oh, the tears. What an actress. Oh, the adoring fans. Just the two of us? That was fantastic. Oh, that's his ringtone. Oh, I want her face to like shrink again. Oh, look at that guy or girl. Oh, so elegant, so mature. She looks like she's like wrapped up for Christmas. And this just like random school teacher guy, huh? Keeping an eye on it. So funny. Exactly what I was going to say. Yep. Well, we had that scene in episode 4. She's onto you. Holy fuck. The stop in the music there was great too. Anyway, I see. Kingpin. I wonder what's happening. Can anybody clue me in? Oh my god, it's Hollywood current year. No! Don't sully my catchphrase. For what? A little soiree? Not my boyfriend. Devious. She is devious. Yeah, another great shot. Fantastic shot. Not exactly subtle, but again, the stairs here too, right? Oh, okay, we're straight into the party. Does he ever not wear his uniform, or is that something else? Is that a little suit or something? He's so poor. Black Widow. They're both kind of obsessed with their sisters too, right? I feel like I recognize this voice too. Please tell me. Please let me know. Oh. Retire? No way. Fiancé? Something like that, right? Yeah, there we go. Thought this was coming. Well, this kind of fucks with your plan, Ringo. At least a little bit. Oh, the voice is great. Anyway, Ringo's having a bit of a time. Ha! Great. What's on that sandwich? Bit of cheese? What are you doing? Why? Why ruin every sandwich? Fucking annoying penguin. Alright, anyway. Back onto the train, as you do. No, she's fucking heartbroken. I just have to split them up. What is an engagement? Technically true. Yeah. Know when to give up. Yeah, what's Kamba up to? Still taking shady money. Shady penguin money. Ooh, what's she reading? Crocodile book. Give me the IBSN of that, please. Funny. It's something about the inversion of the colors of the penguins, right? Well, it's no worse than you've already done with the penguins. What? What are we doing? Finally, witchcraft. Oh, this looks real. Egg chanted. No. There you have it. So you're doing it. Quickly now. How do you make a frog spawn eggs? Give me a million guesses. I'm not saying that this was the next scene in the show. Under the full moon, you say? Okay, anyway. Can you at least give me a movie to watch or something? He's locked in as fuck. What? Regulate my temperature? No. Well, now it's gonna be hot? What is happening? Does this not hurt the frog? I hate the frog sounds. Get it off my screen. Ew! I don't know. But his penguin just like got the just ate the love potion or whatever. What did a what? What? Okay. What's the point of any of that? Anyway, welcome to Rock and Roll Night. Um, this is just a laugh a minute, isn't it? Yeah. Same spot in the episode, both episodes too, pretty much. Himari, thoughts? Are you going to tell us to get the fucking Penguindrum, you piece of shit? That's what she's going to say. Get it now. Okay, both the brothers, just hanging out. Kamba's just like, I've been trying to get like rent money. Largely unhelpful, thanks. Oh. Adult stuff, you say? Okay. You two still just gonna hang out here? Maybe. See, now your job, it is to make your make your acquaintance fuck your teacher. That is your job. Lavu lavu. You mustn't doubt fate. And it's all for my big sister, which is still really weird. This is delusion. Yeah, we mustn't discount, again, the social class kind of discussion here, too. Again, she's got like straw in her hair or something. The soundtrack's fantastic, too. Love a good Fabulous Max. What? Why say this to me? Finally, maternity mission. Project M. Wait, there's a trapdoor? Chat, this is sexual assault. Thoughts? Is she already in bed or something? Hey. The egg chanting girl. Oh, yeah, because of the frog eggs. True. The frog's curious. Okay, so it's kind of leaving us on a bit of a cliffhanger. Does she, sexually assault her teacher? Only time will tell. Yeah. I've got my work cut out for me, I think. At least a little bit. I am curious to see, because Ringo's like basically the main character here at this point in the show and has been for like the past few weeks. Like, will that change? It feels like, again, the Kanda and the Natsume stuff are kind of side stories as it stands right now. We're mostly just focusing on her stuff, Ringo's stuff. Which, again, is very interesting, but like, you know, just interested to see when we change tact. What'll happen? Sure. Oh, a shootout is a shootout. Most important thing. Whatever you say. Indeed. Yeah, sure. I'll come back and I'll talk about those. Probably with no kind of semblance of authority, but I'll talk about it. Sure, why not? So there we have it, folks. Penguindrum episodes 6 and 7 in the book. These were the biggest what the fuck episodes so far. It had the most amount of what the fuck moments. What are we even doing? What are we trying to say? But in that way, I also found it the most engaging thus far as well. I'm borderline obsessed with figuring out what the hell we're even trying to say here and following all the cryptic stuff that's kind of happening in the background. I'm loving it, I guess I'll say. I guess that's where we're coming at this from. Again, I'm going to miss stuff, and I want to preface this right now. I'm going to miss stuff, and that's okay. We can remind me of that stuff after the fact, I guess, right? Like, oh, remember this. This actually plays into this quite a bit. Again, when the reveals happen. Again, I don't really want to even be aimed at the moment. I just kind of want to let it happen. So again, that's kind of where I stand on that. The other thing which I think I don't talk about enough with this show is how cool the production is. I think that's a genuinely well animated show with some really good character design that is frequently quite creative with its shot selections and tells a lot of the story through that kind of visual element. And I don't think I talk about that enough, kind of behind all the intricate layers of the metaphors and everything else that kind of takes up most of my attention. So again, want to give the show its shout-outs in that regard. I feel like I ignore it way too often on the channel overall, that the show is aesthetically brilliant. Even the music's fantastic, up to and including certain insert songs, which were featured in these two episodes, were really, really good. There's kind of that really shoujo-y feeling track, very Utena inspired, of course, that plays quite often as well, that I quite like, as well as a banger opening and a banger ED. But I get the feeling I've got my work cut out for me, so I better get a wriggle on and start, because there will be various scenes in this particular 2-episode chunk where I will talk a long time about what the hell I think is even happening. So again, I was waiting and seeing where the show would go if I was to, go all in on what this first scene is about, and it turns out we are going that direction. She is in bed, all alone, short, sharp breaths, thinking about a wedding night with Tabuki. That can pretty much only mean one thing, and by the end of episode 7, We know what that one thing's going to be. She wants to bone. She is feeling horny. And again, that's not exactly out of the question for Ikuhara, I guess, who's largely obsessed with the concept, again, through Utena. A lot of the turn is about being horny, a lot of it. And again, adolescence as a major theme coming through with that and so forth. What I wanted to zero in on instead is these kind of different colored penguins, almost inverted penguins. And I'm going to say that word inverted a lot over this kind of reaction, I guess. I'm seeing there's two kind of penguin symbols. There's one that's largely associated with the Kamba stuff, which kind of has the top half of the face darkened. And then there's the other one, which has the bottom half of the face darkened, which makes me think there's like rival groups here or something. Again, on one side of the equation, you have the Natsume Kanba story, which again is a lot more bespoke. I don't know what the best word for it is. It's less important than the other stuff and seems very direct, right? It's in your face, it's actiony, it's largely very masculine, where again on the other side you have the Ringo Shorma story with Tabuki and all that kind of stuff, which seems broadly a little bit more feminine. So I'm imagining there's some kind of discussion there about the different penguin symbols and what it's all meant to represent. That's kind of what I'm saying. That's a broad thesis for one of my major theories about the show thus far. I'm not sure where it's all coming from. And it kind of makes me think about those inverted colors on those bears that's in the kind of rock and roll night sequence or whatever you call it, survival strategy. Just color inversion seems very, very important. So again, as I explained in one of the EDs for one of the episodes as well, this obsession with Ringo is like almost 2, 3, 4-fold, right? It's got a lot of stuff going into it. So of course there's the Momika stuff, which we learn about this episode. She wants to almost replace Momika. In so replacing Momika will help the trauma of the family who lost that daughter. We don't know all the context there, but she's apparently passed away. So again, I want to embody my sister insofar as keeping my family together and keeping that ring together. That's kind of part of the obsession there. Therefore Project M, therefore Tabuki. And again, part of that is also I find him hot and I'm horny for him and all that kind of stuff. But again, her parents have also split up. So she sees in a way of replacing Momika and marrying this guy and blah, blah. It's like replacing her own familial unit, something which she has lost as she's grown up. Again, Curry Day no longer takes place, that kind of symbol of innocence. Even the plush doll's another symbol of innocence. Again, taking on a new context as she grows up and changing, again, the kind of form of love as well. So again, I spent time praising the kind of bedrooms in the Takakura household, of course, but this bedroom's also equally important. Again, we see here all these different beauty products and fragrances and that kind of thing. Again, that kind of want to be perceived as beautiful, that want to be perceived as older. Again, the pearls are a very specific type of jewelry as well. Again, normally meant to signify somebody being a little bit older. You don't see many young women wearing pearls. As well as these penguins, which seem very important. Again, that color inversion, as well as this photo of the family, which even follows her to Tabuki's house when she starts sleeping under there. Again, it's all for this is what I'm getting at, right? And the kind of circle shape for the photo frame is very pointed in that regard. And again, the wanting of the kind of binding of the two fates there, the fate of Tabuki and the fate of myself. Again, we'll have a larger discussion about Momika and what she's got to do with all of this a little bit later on. It seems like she's almost the key to everything. In the first scene after the opening, we have Kamba meeting up with Asami Kuho, of course, who got shot in the head by Natsume with the fucking slingshot. And I kind of instantly figured out what was going on here. I think you're like supposed to, right? She got shot in the head with the thing, and then she lost her memories. Specifically, her memories of Kanba. Gosh, I must crush him is this kind of phrase that keeps getting uttered by Natsume, right? So again, in that way, Kanba seems important. In that way, we had the kind of symbol on the back of Kanba's father's jacket. So is he involved as well? Again, Momika died. The parents died. Were they involved in something? Anyway, we'll talk about it. But it seems like whatever the reason, Kanba seems like a target of ire for Natsume. And we want to make his life a living hell. We want to hit the people who he was closest with and make them forget about him. I think Kanba is a character largely driven by ego, even potentially masculine ego. So again, going to all the women in his life and making sure that they forget about him, and again, taking that ego away from him in the process is part of what the overall plan here is. We're going to have to hope that she doesn't shoot Himari in the head. that would be bad. If Himari forgot about Kanba, what would Kanba even do? He would lose his fucking mind. And you know what? Himari's head's got a big old target on it because it's bald. So she's not going to miss. It's a pretty big target, is again what I'm trying to imply there. So I think that's a direction we'll go. How will Kanba react? Again, he's broadly dismissive of the other women in his life, but not his sister. Again, where will this obsession lead him to in that regard? Can he figure out the mystery before that point? Will he continue to take this shady money from, again, the kind of top half of the face penguin? You know, the part which is kind of darkened up this side. He also keeps getting these texts from a number he doesn't know, inadvertently kind of bringing him to certain locations to kind of help him along with the story. I particularly like this little emoji here too. Very, very chic. I like it. Yeah, this is clearly just Natsume, right? Getting him to the locations where she can like kind of scare him, so to say. And just so the audience at home knows what I'm talking about, that's the symbol on his back, right? The one with that side of the face, the kind of left side covered. And then if we pop over here to the other one, which is here, we can see that the wrapper of the certain bullet or whatever, right, has the other side kind of covered. Does that make any sense? It's like that inversion. And again, which side of the equation is winning in that regard? That kind of 50-50 look at what is true and what is fake, almost. It's, I hate to be reductive, but Kanba and Shorma have two different ideas of life and philosophy and fate and all these ideas, right? Is this conflict coming to the fore? Is that same conflict that existed between Kanba's parents? Is that the same conflict that's existing now as represented by this kind of Schrodinger's cat metaphor we go for later, right? It's either alive or dead depending on the perspective, almost like Himari herself. Something in there, I don't know. Again, I'm pontificating. I'm not quite sure where we're going with all that yet, but that kind of sounds like the right area. Today's slogan for episode 4 is "Watch out for the painful trap by your feet." Now, what do we do in this episode again? It's not really a I guess in that way, Ringo herself is the trap for Shorma this episode, because she like ensnares him at that certain moment when the mum walks in. Is that what we're getting at there? Again, Kanba is largely trapping himself in a kind of spiral of debt, so to say. He's also being lured into a trap by Natsume. Lots of stuff there, sure. Let's say that that's what we're getting at there. I don't know if this is anything. He's eating peeled chestnuts, that being the penguin. What the penguin eats will become very important in episode 7, because he eats a bunch of frog eggs, which is largely a love potion as well, so keeping an eye on it. He just likes to eat and kill bugs and stuff, which is fair enough. Specifically, we wanted Kanba to come along here with this portion of the mission as well, but we can't get a hold of him. It seems again like our stories have been pretty well separated here at this point. So essentially what's happening here as well, just so we get kind of the plot explanation stuff out of the way, Ringo realizes that he really wants the diary. He really wants the diary to save Himari. He thinks the diary is the Penguindrum. Fair enough. So I'm going to use his want for that and his desire for that to turn Shorma into my literal slave. Again, not to compare the two brothers, but do you think Kanba would do this in this situation? Would he be that subservient? Most definitely no. That's not his character. Again, now you have a personal slave, and that's kind of what we use you for during a lot of the kind of episode. You're carrying stuff back and forth for her, almost like some kind of personal man-slave. Very, very cool. If only she could make Tobuki a personal man-slave. I think she'd be pretty into that as well. So here's my thing. I guess she's just rich, because this isn't the furniture in her room. This is just other extra stuff she has lying around that she can use for a second bedroom at Tobuki's house. Right? Because it's not like her room changes that much. I think she takes the two plushies, the otter and the kappa. I think she takes them over there. But other than that, not much actually changes about the abode. So yeah, I guess she just has a lot of stuff, which is fair enough. Oh, now I'm seeing it everywhere. Look at this painting in the back. Yeah, huh? Those colors, the choice of those colors. Also, again, we'll talk about it when we're talking about Yuri a little bit later on in episode 7, but she's represented as an orca. Again, also with those black and white colors, but a lot more vicious in that regard. As Shorma goes to leave the room here, he almost steps on the two plush dolls here. Specifically, we have little nicknames for them using kind of the, start of the words here, right? Now, I'm seeing Orka-san and Ortor-san, right? Which again would match with the genders of the the two people in her life. Again, if you are unaware, those are the words for mother and father in Japanese. So again, less of a direct kind of animal to human analog perspective and more just a pun based on the names. Again, pretty cute. Again, very protective of family, linking this into the Project M Momika stuff, which we see through the rest of the episode. Again, specifically, I'm family with these plush dolls. We're never going to be separated ever, ever. Again, does this not sound a little bit familiar to your situation as well, Shauma, right? Struggling very hard to keep that family together. I think a lot of the humor in the show is derived from just how ridiculous this is. You carried a bunch of furniture to Tabuki's house. You know he's not going to, like, be there today. And you're going to, like, build a bedroom, like, under his house for you to, like, sleep in, which is absolutely deranged stuff. There's also, I think there's, like, a rooster or a cock that's kind of sitting atop the entrance to his home as well, which I think is kind of interesting too. Again, may speak to that sexual aspect of the show. Now, again, I don't want to keep my mind in the gutter with this kind of stuff as well, but I think this is a largely horny set of 2 episodes, for sure. And I can't discount 2 of Kanba's exes licking the ice cream like this, right? There's also I think it's the scene where Thingo's penguin is, like, sucking on the mayo or whatever it is, whatever's in that fucking white tube. And again, you don't exactly sucking something out of a white tube. Do you know what I'm saying there? Anyway, what is this in the background too? Some nuts? Hey, yo. Either way, it seems like Natsume is the one sending the texts. She wants to show Kanba just how powerless he is at figuring out what the hell's going on. And again, almost tormenting him by inviting him here and then taking out the other 2 ex-girlfriends. I really like this as well. Oh, there must be someone pulling the strings behind the scene, and I immediately looked at this wide shot that they've decided upon. The most striking thing in said wide shot is this penguin over here. Is this large penguin idea the kind of conspiracy behind the scenes that we're talking about? There's also a panda, almost like eyes shut. That's what I'm kind of seeing going on here. Like the wool's been pulled over your eyes, so to say. Again, maybe that's a little bit too abstract, but again, like that's and this larger organization here is what's in control. Is she even? I think she's shooting from up here, actually. Never mind. I thought maybe she was shooting from up here. Also, the ridiculousness factor. She's got this, like, extended scope laser sight slingshot for the penguin balls, which I just think's cool. And again, as I said, ridiculous, which, again, enjoyable. Like it. The fancy different HUD here as well. The humidity and the wind and the temperature and everything. It's insanity. As well as her pose here is fantastic. I love Natsume. I think she's a fantastic character, even though I don't know much about her yet, and her penguin's kind of scary. Again, in my opinion, the idea that she has a penguin is suspect, because everybody that has a penguin thus far has been involved directly with Himari and that god. Right? But also, notably, the kids had penguins before that point as well. The penguins were there at the aquarium that day when Himari died. So, thoughts? Did she just go to the kind of aquarium and pick up another penguin or something? I don't know. What controls if somebody has a penguin? Specifically here with these bullets as well, I don't know if you can see it quite well, but the top side of the penguin, again, that left side is darkened, but when it gets shot through, it turns to that other side. So again, talking about that inversion that is largely present through a lot of other things in the show. Again, very visually showing off that laser sight, again, meant to torment and scare Kanba. I also like the idea that she says bird poop here. She thinks that some bird poop fell on her or something. In that way, linking it to the penguin stuff. In that way, when the bullets kind of disintegrate, it kind of looks like bird poop. I think there's some stuff going on there as well. But again, it's largely meant to be tormenting for Kanba. That's the point of the scene. And again, I can't overstate this enough. The kind of tonal switch between the Kanba scenes and the Shauma scenes, right? Shauma scenes, like a romantic comedy, right? Largely, again, associated more feminine. These scenes, it's like an action movie. It's a lot more masculine leaning, right? There's tension to it. There's shady deals behind the scenes. There's car chases, as we saw at the end of episode 5. Where again, Shauma, it's just rom-com stuff. But it's good. It's, like, funny. It's not like a detriment to just say it's like that, but it's very purposeful which direction we've chosen the brothers to take, I think. Continuing here to be kind of extrapolated upon, we have Kanba and his penguin and the horny streak. He's just down here reading certain magazines, as you do. Again, kind of adding to this overall horny tone of the episode, I would say. We had a very similar shot for Asami Kuho in her bed as well, just kind of cutting off the mouth and looking at the dead, vacant eyes. And again, before they forget about him, just kind of giving him almost this one last kiss off. Again, you said that I was the only one that you loved and that kind of thing. Again, he's kind of a womanizer, he's two-timing them, all that kind of stuff. And again, is this his just desserts for doing so? Potentially. Even got this panda here, again, blindsided by the whole thing. And again, if we're talking about a form of contrast as well, we've got this kind of very vibrant red screen and the kind of silhouetting as kind of the bullet explodes, and I guess this kind of memory of Kamba also escapes them, right? It's burning but fleeting, almost like their love for Kanba as well. I'm also seeing it as a large contrast point between the water motif going along with a lot of the rest of the show, right? Again, if we're talking about contrast and inversion, the inversion of the water stuff would be this fire. But again, being able to show this amount of variety in the choice of shots and almost this kind of horror-esque stuff here, as compared to the other stuff in the show, again, shows a definitive difference, but also a lot of versatility for the creatives involved. Should I get an episode director? I think that would be a very wise thing to do. It was Yamazaki, that same director of Nozaki-kun as well. Interesting, sure. Again, versatile, very good director. And again, this is where we start to put everything together. We see that similar kind of bullet casing that was in Asami Kuho's room. Again, if they now forget about me, which they do, it means that these kind of bullets are directly involved in doing so. Shout out to this kind of bird's eye view, pardon the pun, of this shot here. Again, very, very different tonal even than the rest of the show. Looks like a murder investigation. And again, this same kind of vocal inflection or little tick that she has. Gosh, I must crush him soon. Again, like, she lives in kind of like this kind of palatial mansion type thing. Again, it seems like she's like a princessy type. Or genre, maybe. Yeah. Keeping an eye on it. I don't know if we're trying to say anything about class there as well, considering that you're abundantly rich and you're still fighting Kanba, who's, again, taking dirty money because he has to. So I don't know what the fuck happens here. Does she just get giga mega horny? Which, I mean, I've been there, but it didn't lead me to just jump over whoever was in the room, I guess. I don't know what happened here. So again, can I translate this? Am I stupid? God, my katakana skills. But I'm imagining me your ne zu. Okay, it is Kipi Mayo. That's good. Again, he's like sipping on the mayo and sucking it down as she's sucking his face. It's all just very odd. Why is she mayo in this metaphor as well? Odd. Why is it a penguin with eyelashes? Female penguin? Something? I don't know. Weird. Yeah, again, she's just on one. She's talking about wedding night and giving him a smooch and stuff. I guess she gets a fever because she's been at it all day, carrying stuff back and forth between here and the other place. And again, obsessed with what the diary says as well. I need to feel it on my skin like the diary says. Again, that's why she was largely incensed when reading in the morning. She knew that something dirty had to happen today, feeling it on her skin, so to say, as well. So again, this is the most hot and kind of bothered she gets today, as opposed to Under the House, where she thinks it's happening. Maybe this is what's actually happening. Does that make any sense? Like, the diary is still being kind of accomplished, but with a different guy, but with Shawma instead of Tabuki. Again, much like episode 4, she did share that kiss, but she shared that kiss with another person. She shared it with Shawma after the CPR, as opposed to Tabuki. And again, adding to the awkwardness of the scene is the mother walking in, of course, and seeing this occurring, of course, as you do. And again, during kind of her fever dream here, that being Ringo's, right, she then thinks back to a scene that happened a very long time ago, probably in the wake of Momika's death, as we learn here that her birthday always falls on Curry Day. Her birthday in this regard, I think, is referring to Momika. So Curry Day is also Momika's birthday, so that gives extra significance to Curry Day, as we saw it kind of earlier in the show, right? That we were talking about Momika subtextually that entire time as well, whenever Curry Day was brought up. This kind of innocent look at familial love and connection that used to exist, right? As represented through Curry. And in a very clunky way in the dialogue here, we also learn another thing, which is that tomorrow will be the anniversary of Momika's death. So I'm imagining she died 1 year before this point. Does that make any sense? And then this would be the first anniversary, which is also Ringo's birthday. So It's the night before her birthday. They're not focusing on Ringo right now. They're focusing on Momoko, right? She wants to hold on to the kind of image of her parents at this time. Again, an important time for her personally. She may have known her sister, but not super known her sister, considering how young she is, right, as well. But again, kind of wanting the family support right now in that regard, but the death of the daughter in the previous year, Momoko, is kind of driving the family apart, so to say. Much like what I see is happening with the Takakuras as well, I see the parents largely kind of, they're torn on a certain emotion, right? Where again, we saw that in episode 5 with the Takakuras, where kind of mum was sitting back and waiting and that kind of stuff, where kind of the father was a lot more gung-ho in saving Himari. We see something else going on here, where, again, I'm kind of associating Himari and Momoko in a lot of ways here too. These parents have different philosophies on the death of their daughter, right? Where you want to hold on to her forever and ever and not let go, where you want to move on and try different things. Again, I think this ultimately representing the wedge that comes between your relationship as a whole as well. It's what causes you to split up and for you to find a new family. Again, we must remember the name of that other daughter. I think it's Aoi or something like that, which I think has associations with the ocean broadly as a name. I don't know. I'll need to look that up. But yeah, it's very interesting that again we have this kind of conflicted set of parents, right? And their philosophies almost on death as opposed to fate. And again, through a childish perspective, she's seeing that both of the parents in their argument here as represented by these plush dolls instead of their actual forms, right? We have Mum over here saying that she won't forget Momoko. Almost a very pessimistic perspective from the mother, where we get a little bit more optimistic from the father. We still have Ringo. We've still got another daughter here, right? Now, specifically as well, your name is Ringo, her name is Momoko. Like Momo, like Peach, which is like the stamp that she keeps putting on the thing, right? That says Destiny on it. Again, Project M, Project Momoko, Project all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's all starting to make sense, right? The Peach specifically, right? Now, this is pretty depressing as well, because I'm seeing this as like a really childish view of like a domestic dispute. Like, Dad here is like throwing his little stupid otter shell down, screaming it's fate, right? That we should pour our love that we had for Momoko now into Ringo, right? But again, in real life, is this not a violent act? You know, slamming something on the ground like that while Mum's crying over here. Again, you're slamming stuff too, but again, this isn't a good kind of place to be for a child. Again, very specific framing of this painting up here as well. Now, specifically here, breaking up the action, we have the moray eel, the gangster of the sea, apparently. Now, the eel was what was on Dad's little phone keychain, remember? And I associated eels and eels largely with snakes as well. They kind of had a similar kind of symbolism thing going on there, where it was kind of like this trickster type thing, you know? It's not exactly honest. And again, kind of befitting of somebody with a second family. So again, this eel kind of representing that kind of split in the family now existing, and Dad and Mum going off in different directions is probably pretty apt in that regard. So that is our fate. The two of us will never move on until we accept that, whatever. They're basically struggling with the death of their firstborn child. That's, again, until they do that, they can't move on. So again, little Ringo's looking at this the entire time. She sees Curry, and she sees her family, and she's like, oh, well, if I want to bring this all together, then I need to embody the traits of Momoko, right? If fate's important here as well, she's also kind of cognizant of that concept, then I need to follow fate to the nth degree. If I can become my sister, they won't split up, right? And we can be together as a family and not be in this kind of really bad domestic situation between us all, right? Again, she's already got daddy issues. Just make it family issues at this point. She just wants to be together. Again, we must remember kind of Ringo looking upon those scenes of the Takakuras with envy, right? Eating curry with the people she loves. That's all she really wants. So now, again, I got to get my timing correct here as well. I believe... I don't know how old you are here, but there's a pretty big age gap between you two, right? So I think Momoko needs to be like their age now. She needed to be like 16 when she passed, maybe. Does that make sense? Or even potentially younger? Because here we have high school senior Tabuki, but he's about to graduate, and it's only some years after Momoko's death, I think. Maybe even younger. Momoko was my everything as a child. Yeah, so maybe there's a larger gap there. Specifically name-dropping fate here as well. Again, we'll get to discussing specific things with Ringo as well, which basically alters her worldview here. Again, if Tabuki was that important to Momoko, and I have to embody Momoko to bring my family together, then that is informing this crush that I have on this guy as well. So again, I think it's twofold. It's all that kind of family stuff, and I also think she just finds the prospect attractive as well. Ringo electing to walk Tabuki home here as well and pry him for questions about Momoka. Was she really that special? Oh, I'm seeing the street signs in the background too. Very nice touch between these two characters here. Again, largely associated with adult and child, further emphasizing this relationship that cannot be between you two. And again, will that taboo be crossed by the end of... well, by the start of the next episode, right? That's kind of the cliffhanger at the end of episode 7. Again, a very specific shot in a later episode here today as well, that kind of shot of her like orange juice compared to their wine. Again, they're just so much older than her, and she can't really even fathom that. They're operating on a different kind of timescale, you know? Now, we have two cats personifying this scene here as well. Big Monogatari vibes to all this kind of stuff, actually. Very, very cool. This list of everything that's just one is odd too. So again, we're prying him about why she's special, and we bring up the idea of riding a bike. I think what we're trying to get to here is some kind of eureka moment, and associating that with his relationship with Momoka, right? At one point, there was when I couldn't ride a bike, and then she taught me how to ride the bike, and then I was like I could never forget how to ride the bike. So again, maybe Tabuki's more in on this than we know as well, right? Again, almost like you've forgotten a time before when you couldn't ride a bike. She irreversibly changed me, is what I'm getting across here. On screen, we have symbols of freedom. Again, riding a bike as opposed to the sign of walking there before. We have birds flying through the air. Again, Momoka changed my perspective of the world in a heartbeat with what she did with me, right? I'm very interested to learn more about Momoka. What was it that she taught you that changed everything for you, right? And again, is this associated with all the penguin stuff? Most probably. Again, considering how important that diary, or the Penguindrum, if you want to believe it is, right? Everything changed now that she's gone, though. I can still ride the bike, but I can't recall what the treasures were. The treasures that I used to find in everyday things. Again, that shot of the two cats, now we have one cat left, right? Sometimes I wonder why Momoka is no longer in this world. We have to figure out why she died as well, you know? The world around me, as a result, feels increasingly unsteady, right? Much like Schrodinger's cat, I don't know which direction it's going to go. Now again, I don't have time here to go into Schrodinger's cat in large details. For some reason, I remember talking about it on the channel at some point before, probably in Monogatari, I'm going to say. Probably. But again, it's like this broadly theoretical concept of, like, you know, you put a cat in a box and there's like a timed poison or something in that regard, but you don't know when the time is going to go off. It could go off immediately. It could go off a million trillion years from now. You take an undisclosed amount of time and you look in the box. Is the cat dead or is the cat alive? It's unsure. It's meant to show off this concept of, you know, uncertainty and that kind of thing, right? Again, hugely paraphrasing. Again, I'm not like a physicist, a philosopher. I don't know where you would even get that concept from. So again, I probably did a poor job explaining it, but again, that's largely what he's associating with the world state right now. A level of uncertainty, especially in a show that's so very much about fate and having things, again, set in stone and certain. So again, extrapolating upon that, right, fate's design. Well, if you believe in fate, then whatever you believe right now as to what the cat is, or whatever you're told to believe what the cat is right now, is what the cat is, and there's no need to check it. Where again, you're happy passively kind of coasting through life, knowing that whatever is told to you is true, right? Where again, I see that as Shorma. I see Kamba's on the other side of the equation, where he's always going to go and double check and look and open the proverbial box, right? Like, he's not going to let what fate has decided for him be the truth, I guess. He's always going to fight against it, or double check it, or that kind of stuff, right? So again, if we talk about God as this kind of arbiter of fate, right, and God as represented by Himari in the show, find the Penguindrum. Let's contrast our two characters, right? Shorma is very much straightforwardly, almost to a slave-esque abusive standpoint, pursuing the Penguindrum, right? Where Kamba's not really doing that. Kamba's happy letting Shorma do that. Kamba's off discovering something else entirely and forging his own path and doing other things, right? Discovering other stories. Again, all in the kind of hopes of still protecting Himari. That's the thing that kind of unites them. But it's curious that Kamba isn't along on this kind of Penguindrum quest along with Shorma, right? And the diary. Again, one broadly doing what they're told, not looking in the box, just doing what God says, and the other one fighting against it, opening their own box and maybe opening a different can of worms in the process, finding out who's behind all of this too. Yeah, a curious concept that we're bringing up that should get a lot more focus as the show continues, and again, continue to remind me of this kind of stuff. I think there's a lot in it. And as the scene ends, we have another different cat walking in along next to Tabuki's cat as well, right? It started off with 2 cats, went to 1 cat, then another cat's approaching again. This is now Ringo, wanting again to replace Momoka, right? I want to replace what Momoka was to you, that special person. And again, in that way, trying to bring my family back together. But again, we must remember what a black cat represents as well. It's ominous. It's a bad omen. Is she going to get too far in over her head in trying to pursue this kind of thing? I would argue she already has. So now all that discussion I made about Momoka's diary, right? And the kind of symbols on it and that kind of little, that little parable. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so funny. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, all those kind of stuff. There was something about a dead sister. Now that makes a lot of sense associating it directly with you, right? Urashima Taro as well is the name there, I should remember. I never really thought of Death Note as an analog here, but there's something in that, especially in the discussion of death and who's the arbiter of death and playing God and some of these concepts that are gotten at in this show. Yeah, interesting thing to reference there, I would say. Just a fun one, though, mostly. Just an Easter egg, you would say. Another interesting thing we see here is that Mom almost wants to say something upon hearing your name of Shoma Takakura, right? She went, never mind. She wanted to say something. So, again, is that last name important to something? Are you involved with the penguin people or whatever the fuck? I don't know. And again, I theorized this in the path if we would maybe go in this direction. It seems like continually so we're teasing it about a relationship between Ringo and Shoma. Again, very specifically that scene in episode 7 where you're laying in bed, no, well, not in bed, you're laying next to her bed as she's under Tabuki. You're the one like that's kind of with her. Yeah, there's that association there too. Yeah, I think we're maybe going in that direction, which is interesting. Again, in kind of combination with your attributes versus your brother's. How will Big Bro react, I guess? Specifically here, it seems like Tabuki and Shoma went to the same school, so Tabuki's now teaching at the school that he attended, because they're wearing that same uniform, right? Maybe that uniform eases her mind even more. Maybe that's why Ringo's taken a liking to you, right? Some part of her subconsciously associates this uniform with Tabuki. Weirdly enough, this penguin's trying to get into the mayonnaise again. Does that mean that Shoma wants to kiss Ringo's mother? Maybe. I don't know. Either way, in the dialogue here, we're finding out the relationship between Ringo and Momoka and Tabuki. Like, again, kind of Tabuki and Momoka were the same age. And again, she passed away a long time ago. And again, that focus on the calendar in the back and kind of curry day in that regard, that importance there. So now we have Ringo back in this kind of underwater setting, sleeping next to the diary in this kind of fever dream state again, kind of back to that kind of flashback from before, where again, I have to become Momoka. That is my destiny. Everybody in my life is waiting for me to become her. Then everything precious to me will return. Again, as I said in the reaction, she needs therapy. That's not true. But again, from here we initiate the survival strategy as well, and we go into the different kind of sequence, right? With only Shoma in attendance this time as well. This sequence plays out a lot like the rest of them. It's just kind of Shoma here this time, and she just kind of reiterates her point and kind of stamps the heel down, so to say. You let that pervert girl do what she wants, right? You let Ringo go off and do this merry escapade if it gets you closer to obtaining the Penguindrum. At all costs, I want this thing done. I don't know what the hell Weasel Knievel is about, and I'm pretty sure there's a better Japanese analog there, but they did a good job of getting across, I guess, a phrase that no one really says anymore. It's been a long time since I've heard Evil Knievel. So again, any other translation of that pun there would be appreciated. I'd like to see what they're getting at, I guess. And again, much like I've theorized in the past, let's initiate the survival strategy, or the kind of phallic sex-like imagery during this sequence. They're talking about letting Ringo do what she wants on her wedding day, so to say. Sharing the same roof, all that kind of stuff. Initiating the survival strategy. Maybe not that direct. But yeah, you see what she's saying there, I guess. And then back to our like thriller investigation over in this side of the story. We have, again, just the reveal that the ex-girlfriends now no longer remember who Kamba even is. Again, the dead eyes, who are you? If And again, I keep saying attaching this to ego, right? And that being so very important for Kanba. But again, there is one most important woman in his life, that being his sister. What will happen if this goes to the nth degree? Building up to the end of the episode here, we have Mum checking on Ringo, but Ringo's done the good old-fashioned put the blankets under the kind of covers technique and, make it seem like she's sleeping. In reality, she's off on the train, ready to go see Tabuki, where she's again full-on delusional, doubled down on the whole Momika thing. I want to feel his breath on my skin. I've set up a futon under his house and I'm going to listen to him at night. Again, copying him. If Tabuki's doing some cooking up here, then I'm going to be doing some cooking down here. We must make our dinner together as our first joint task. Again, you are mentally unwell. It's a little burnt, but he praises me as usual, saying it's delicious. Sharing a bath, so to say, as well, which is very funny. You're not doing anything here. Sharing toothbrushes, glasses beside the bed. He's just kind of sleeping there. You put on your nightie, you close it off, and you're sleeping as well. A wedding night is in progress. Tabuki, do you remember those words? Everything must have a meaning. I believe it. Fate must be shaped like a gigantic ring. In that way, every part of the shape is important to its construction. If there's any break in the ring there, then everything falls apart. That's kind of a good shape association with the concept of fate, I would say, and the concept of following this kind of manual as to how to live, right? Again, also seeing the absolute delusion here, even like serial killer vibes of having the kind of body outline here of Tabuki. So again, I see that the ring of fate has been broken. Now I need to insert myself into the ring of fate to make everything right again, right? I'll become Momika and rotate the frozen ring of fate, and when I do all the events in the diary, things precious to me will become eternal. Utana, anyway. And again, the kind of ring shape of the photo here, the association with the father and the mother here, and the different shapes and that kind of stuff, and the different plushes and that kind of side to it. Yeah. Again, you are seeking eternity, so to say, which is funny. You want your family to be kept together. You want this kind of this radiant thing from your past to stay the same as it always has been, right? With your family together, and feel like you've been loved. And this is how you're manifesting that in a very unhealthy way. Yeah, again, this character needs mental help, and I guess we're kind of sitting at a point where it seems like how far will she go to before she gets said help, I guess. Ending our episode here, we have checking in with Natsume, who has a bunch of bullshit in her palatial mansion over here, and she's on the phone with somebody, but potentially an end-of-the-world type figure, assuring them that fate's trajectory is in the palm of our hands. Also talking about Project M, also in possession of a penguin. Are we manipulating Ringo to do a certain thing that's involved in Project M coming into play? And again, is Kanba involved in that? Is this remnants from his father, who seemed associated with all this penguin business and that kind of thing? These shady loans. Are you pulling all of the strings? Is there somebody beyond you that's pulling even more strings? Why is Project M good? All those questions and more remain unanswered, in my opinion. This penguin's kind of bored, though. And again, if it's an emperor penguin, so to say, then that associates itself with class again, which is a good penguin for you to possess, I would say. And higher class of penguin. You and I are bound by M. That was a great episode. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Starting our next episode here, we have a very happy Ringo, who won't be very happy by the very end of the episode, as she assures herself that the curry girl, that being Yuri, was nothing more than a curry girl. In fact, she's way more important to him than you. She's now his fiancée, right? And again, you don't like that. Again, these stars, this outward obsession with fate being correct and assurance that the book will come true. It's only testing my faith. All this kind of very religious stuff to it as well, right? Again, delusion, complete delusion. Where again, now we have Shauma following her down here to her little special abode under Tabuki's house, where again, she gets very defensive very quickly. I like the presence of this incense here that's burning. Again, that largely kind of religious association with the incense as well, but also the shape of it, the snake, right? And also time running out on it as well, right? Like, this is when shit's gonna hit the fan, when we hit the middle here, right? So again, this kind of ticking time, almost fuse-like element to it, as well as the association with the snake, temptation, bad stuff generally. Shauma makes the assumption that Project M would be Project Marriage. At some semblance, at some level, I think it is, right? It is that thing. It is trying to marry Tabuki. She even says as such before. So is she just being defensive by not admitting it's literally marriage? Because it's also Project M like Momoko, right? Because I want to replace Momoko. But it's also, I'm thinking, something else entirely too. So again, when she says that it's her grand and creative plan, we see the shadow here and we see the bugs hiding underneath, right? So again, she may say over here that it's one thing, but there's this kind of seedy underbelly to the plan, which maybe she's not even aware of, that we can see over here. Again, it's a very interesting visual for when we're talking about Project M. This is what I was talking about before as well, kind of Shauma's presence sleeping next to her as she's like pining over Tabuki. Just very interesting, I would say. Love the colors and the kind of underwater conceit of all this kind of stuff as well. When are you going to come back to the surface, so to say, to actually breathe? Or are you fine down here proverbially drowning? There's also the discussion in the dialogue right now. Tabuki, maybe he just like looks at internet porn and he's in his kind of spare time there because he's a guy, right? No, Tabuki's not interested in that kind of stuff, right? He's very pure, you know? And again, you needing to almost debase yourself by the end of the episode, in your opinion, in order to gather his attention in the wake of Yuri, right? Again, this outward scoffing at sexual stuff over here and then committing a taboo, like literally sexual assault by the end of the episode. Again, you're caught off guard by this in some regard, I think. I think the idea here as well is that Ringo has Tabuki's phone like wiretapped or something. So when she gets his love letter, she thinks that he's written a love letter to her, when in reality, I think it's Yuri's love letter. It's all about this kind of replacement stuff we're talking about through the rest of the episode as well. Again, kind of expanding upon the stuff present in episode 4, just kind of upping the severity there. Continuing straight off from there, after the opening, we have picking out an outfit to go to the theater together with Tabuki, right? Again, I'm thinking this episode is largely very similar to episode 4. Again, it's just misunderstandings and Yuri getting one up on you constantly, right? You think you're going on a theater date together with him, he's invited me out on a date, but in reality, he just wants to go see his girlfriend's show. I talked about the pearls previously as well. I think this is a bid to seem more adult. Where again, we're building contrast where there's a lot of like, there's a particular cut as well, which I think is brilliant. I'll highlight it in the moment as well, where her kind of face grows out of her head, which is odd. But I like this as well, kind of like, oh, I'm going out on a date with old mate, right? I'm wearing like this dress, I'm wearing pearls, I've got my little purse, but you look so very childlike in doing so, right? It's again, it just screams delusion to me. Now that's interesting as well. It seems like Scatter with Paris, The Tragedy of M is the name of our show here. Now, M is interesting too. It seems like it's a bit of a review type show type thing. Marie Antoinette, that is M in that regard. Very, very, very interesting. Cool. Okay. Yeah, just M. What is M? What is M meant to represent in all of this? Is there another layer of the pun on top of all of this? Marriage, Momoko, Marie Antoinette. I don't know how to look it up, but I want to see who this co-lead voice actor is. I think that it's somebody I know. If I was to place this historically, it seems that you need to flee Paris for whatever reason because the French Revolution is currently ongoing and they literally want you. They want you dead because you're the representation of everything that they hate, that being the unwashed masses in all of this. My question is this play real? Is there really a play that makes me sympathize with Marie Antoinette? I guess there is some sympathy there to be had, but like also, again, it's all history, it's all perspective, you know what I mean. We also have an insert song here, again, talking to what I've talked about previously. A lot of the review roots behind a lot of kind of Ikuhara's work and so forth. Literally the Sunshine Troupe or whatever I think they're called, very much associated with the Takarazuka Review, which I kind of researched in my stuff with Review Starlight and Utane in the past. So I'm not going to retread too much there, but it's definitely being referenced pretty heavily here. I'm more interested in the presence of the disco ball, right? Are we associating that with disco music as well, which has had certain connotations with it throughout history too, and again is very much of its time. Almost very like kind of lame and kind of cliche now is the disco ball. We're trying to say something there. Paris, Paris, the city of light, Paris. I am certain you will find me tomorrow morning. Now, noting the elevation here as well, she is kind of on that staircase above everyone else with the spotlight on her. Again, this is a royal in direct opposition to the masses below, which are the audience, which is Ringo in this regard, right? Rose petals scatter like snowflakes, that is I, Marie. My duty, my fate, Paris, Paris. Again, that's probably the best view of it, and then again, we see the rest of the supporting cast there. This seems like almost like that final number of the show. where everyone else, again, is very much below her. But the lyrics there, the rose petals like snow, again, something that is very much alive, turning into something that's very much cold, very much dead. This is like the last night of your life, right? I think that's what we're trying to get across there. My fate is ultimately death at the hands of the masses, so to say. But again, in reality, she's still very much alive and at large, as associated with the roses here, those red roses, that deep passion that she is receiving from everybody else. Again, getting swamped by everybody, getting crowded out of here, right? Almost that reversal of Marie Antoinette, right? You had the crowds hating Marie Antoinette by the end of the revolution, right? Or, whatever time in history. In contrast, now we have Yuri, after she stops playing that role, after she stops being an actress, right, where the masses now love her. And again, Ringo here being associated with said masses, being pushed away, being kind of simplified in the face of this, right, before again getting invited to dinner by her crush, and her face from kind of NPC growing into real character out of that. Love that piece of animation there. But just as it seems like she's going to be able to have a date with Tabuki, Tabuki gets a text from Yuri. Yuri's slid in already and made a dinner reservation. And again, this character design here must just be a reference, right? It has to. It's so very cliched. Again, the rose petals being further associated with her, right? Because Yuri walks in and then the roses kind of like gravitate towards her. Again, she's just that very cliche, like beauty type character, right? She looks so much more adult than Ringo here, very specifically too. Where everything in kind of Ringo's character design in this scene seemed very forced, this seems very natural. She's just got it, right? She's got whatever you don't have. And again, you're delusional in thinking that you can compete, I guess. But in that way, also personifying an actress, I think playing up being this nice, perfect young lady here, again in front of Tabuki, to Tabuki's family friend over here, in order to garner his favor as well. Almost forcing you into the role of actress in the process as well, as you need to kind of respond to her kindness. Again, breaking through this beautiful scene here, right, where she's getting this elegant meal at dinner alone at night. She sees the blood in all of it. She sees that blood red rose. She sees what she really is. She's this terrible beast in the water, taking out the kind of seals and walruses that are sitting on the shore, right? She's a man-eater, so to say. Continuing this delusion from Ringo, she imagines what kind of Yuri had to do to get her current position in Hollywood, right? Devoured many men. Again, this didn't exactly happen. I'm pretty sure this is all in Ringo's head, but essentially she slept her way to the top. I like the drinks up here as well. We have Ichigo, we have Passion, we have Pink Pink. Again, use your imagination where you need to. Again, we got this kingpin guy here, Yuri kind of leaning down next to his leg in the bar. And again, him dropping that mask by the very end of the night, saying Fabulous Max as he's getting his, he's getting what he needs to get Yuri what she wants. And I love the shot of the plate here too, like cutting up all the different stuff here. This is what she's doing. This is what she's had to do, this very methodical method to get to the top as well, right? And again, don't you let your guard down, Tabuki. She'll do the same thing to you. She's simply just using you to get to the top. Which again, depending on Tabuki's importance, may not be that far from the truth. Because again, my large theory is like, she's amazingly beautiful and she's this actress, and why does she want to go out with this school teacher guy? Like, is he hot? I don't know. Is he? And again, I just love watching Yuri here and kind of the shade that she's throwing. You bring along your cute boyfriend to this soiree I'm inviting you to, right? It's like, that's not my boyfriend, but it, again, further disassociates her and Tabuki from Ringo, right? Like, we're a couple here, you're a couple over there, right? That's what she's laying out the territory here, even without being explicit about it. But again, that kind of continual explanation in the plot of that association between Shauma and Ringo, which I think will go somewhere. And again, here's that shot I was talking about, again, being kind of third-wheeled by that conversation, right? You bring along your boyfriend, we're the same over here. You can bring your orange juice type buddy. Again, you two are the same age. You two can do that over here. We're adults. We can do this over this direction instead, And again, that very definite barrier of being 18, drinking alcohol, and again, what we get to by the very end of the episode, taking of one's virginity, kind of these big stepping stones in growing up. Again, much like in the play, she's also upon the steps here. She sees herself as so much higher than everybody else at the party, and making this announcement, I invited everybody here for a special occasion, so to say. Now, I wanted to double check, are you wearing your school uniform? Fucking Shirogane style from Kaguya-sama. Like, that's the only good set of clothes you have, so you feel like you have to wear it everywhere. Is that kind of like this class element to it as well? No, I think I made that up. The school uniform has like a bit of a vest and different colored pants. Maybe he's reusing the blazer. I don't know. I was just questioning it because we then make a joke about him being poor. Again, can I like pack a bunch of these hors d'oeuvres and that kind of thing to go to feed my sister and my family? Ringo's still clearly pretty much got this guy by the balls, basically telling him to keep an eye on Tabuki, keep Tabuki away from Yuri at all costs. Again, the diary's on the line here. But again, before that happens, before we can protect Tabuki and stop him from going over to Yuri, Yuri starts to make her retirement speech. As soon as she got up on stage like this, I was like, this is pretty much has to be where this conversation is going. Again, I'd like to inform you that we are now engaged. Tabuki must have proposed, they're getting together, she's quitting the business, she's going to move on to the next step in her life, basically without Ringo, which again basically breaks Ringo's worldview. It's the worst thing that could have happened, but I must admire her almost mindless devotion to fate in this regard. No, this is just God testing me. It's not a sign that I should stop this. It's not a sign that this is all delusional. No. It's another test, a test of my love. And again, turns to witchcraft and sexual assault as a result, right? She's going to go off and make a love potion now. She's literally lost her fucking mind. Love the shot here of her falling backwards. Again, worldview shattering. She doesn't even... Again, I've seen the orca taking away my boyfriend over this way and like needing to hold on to his ear to like stay sane almost. After the ad break, we pop back on the train and you're clearly distraught and you don't know what to think about any of this, and you're over here asking for the diary. You're just asking for trouble. You're asking for a frog to fucking give birth on top of your back. And again, delusion here. My Project M will not be hindered by something so trivial as the person that's involved there getting married. Again, we live under the same roof. Again, this is destiny. This is yes. Nothing more than a test of my love. We also get today's slogan while we're on this train as well. Know when to give up. Again, all these kind of broken hearts on fire and that kind of thing. Again, speaking to what we're doing next as outright delusion. Again, we're asking Shauma what his age is. Are you 16 is basically the question. But again, big genre switch, right? We have this very Western type whistle over this way. There's no kind of love potion shenanigans over here. It's the cold reality of the situation where he needs to take like fucking like shady money to save his family over and over again. Again, that same slogan, know when to quit. Again, Penguin, largely masculine leaning Penguin that like fucking pervs on people and stuff. He's doing like fucking chin-ups. Do you not see the difference here, is my point. That envelope there as well is the penguin with the kind of, the left side of its face, the top half kind of covered as well, as opposed to... It seems like this is, after a reaction, something goes from that penguin to the other penguin, I guess. Again, there's that point of contrast there, right? That's the opposite side covered. And again, we're kind of spying on him, asking this question to this shady guy, right? It seems like these are the penguin people that we're taking the loan off as well. Is it not your people that would have owned this kind of thing? And gosh, I must crush him soon as you're reading your little stupid crocodile book. Yeah, spy movie shenanigans over here, on the phone again to the fucking end of the world, talking about some shit. And of course, bringing the joke of the scene full circle, we have like grandma mad at you for using your phone on the no phone train car. Very funny, as you're doing like very serious business, like huge ramification interaction over here. Granny's just upset. Very funny. And now for something completely different. Again, it's the witchcraft scene at night. Again, it's just funny. It's just like you're delusional again, and we're going to have a frog give birth on your back for whatever reason, I don't know. I love how shady and shitty this website is on the laptop as well. Dolkamara Lovers, which I think is a plant, which is weird. Bittersweet, I looked it up. Yeah, sure. So we enter here, right? We go to the menu. We're in fucking potions class. Do you want plant, snake, frog, or other? We need the egg-chanted frog, of course. And to do that, it needs to be like... I don't know how frogs work. Can frogs just like make eggs and then the eggs get fertilized by something else, right? So this is a female frog, it would lay the eggs, and then the father would come along and fertilize the eggs. Is that how that works? Anyway, this is the egg-chanted frog. We need some frog eggs on a 16-year-old male's back during a full moon. You must crush the powder of its dried eggs to make an elixir of love. This penguin over here just eats it. So, like, is that anything? Are you gonna, like, fall in love now or something? Or is it just like meant to be funny because that penguin just eats a lot of things, like was eating the sandwiches before? And again, always forcing always forcing you into these uncomfortable situations, again based on Shauma's love for Himari. Again, you're gonna do this for Himari, right? Again, you're I'm literally your slave owner because you want this diary. And again, I love how we up the disgusting factor here. I hate the frog sounds. I hate the fucking the slime and all that kind of shit. Again, literally waiting 2 hours with this frog on his back, where again we find that the ideal spawning temperature is 42 degrees Celsius. Again, kind of like heating up this frog on his back to make it give birth. Again, is this not like really dangerous? You're like pointing like hair dryers at the frog. Like that can't be good, right? Where again, you're just, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous scene. And again, that utter devotion to Himari is the only thing holding you together there. And again, I noticed it too. Your breathing getting like heavier. Your breathing getting heavier. Like, it's just gross. It's very gross. It's a very clearly gross scene. Also, again, I'm gonna imagine it doesn't make a fart sound when frogs give birth. I'm just gonna imagine that. But then she's disgusted by it, Ringo's over there disgusted, and then the penguin just goes and eats them all immediately. Like, does anybody want to talk to this on any further level? I've got nothing. What is this meant to say? Is this meant to say anything beyond it just being funny and gross? I don't know. Either way, after that debacle, we're brought back into the fucking survival strategy sequence. Very, very cool. Where again, it's essentially Himari just reiterating what she said before. Get the Penguindrum. But it's impossible now. Tabuki's going to get married to Yuri, so we can't get the diary. And again, you're content with that. You don't want to break any eggshells, so to say, right? You just want to go with the flow. You're accepting things for how they are. Let's contrast that with Kamba here. What would Kamba say? It's not over yet. I hear men get marriage blues too. So you're saying Ringo Oginome wants to do adult stuff with Tabuki, right? Tabuki is a man. If we plan this right, one night indiscretion isn't out of the question. So essentially, again, from your broadly masculine perspective, you're like, Tabuki still fucks. So if we get him in a situation where he can't possibly say no, we can make this thing still work and make these two to get together. If Project M then succeeds in that regard, then she's going to give us the Penguindrum, and then we can solve whatever Himari wants us to do, or the god, or whatever you want to call her. And yeah, she thinks that's a great idea. Hey, slave, you do that. You make sure that they bone. So again, the plot in the show, as I said during the reaction, becomes, hey, I want to take a girl my age and have her fuck my teacher for my own benefit to save my sister. By any means necessary, seduce Tabuki into tapping Ringo. Again, how the fuck am I supposed to make that happen? I don't know. That's your problem now. And again, now to finish out the episode here, we have Delusion Central from Ringo, right? Touching the photo, wanting to gain that touch of Tabuki, right? It was a mistake to depend on such an immoral method. No problem, everything written here comes true, but then why did Tabuki get engaged to that woman? Again, destiny and fate are on my side. I need to do this for Momoko as well, right? Momoko being very important here, bringing back this kind of shoujo pastiche thing from episode 4. Again, pleading with the queen, it's destiny that I get together with this guy. But again, that kind of class barrier. You've got straw in your hair, you're this kind of, you know, pauper, so to say, right? You're never going to get with this guy because you're not on the same level. Again, denote the staircase, right? They're above me in that regard. Even invoking a little bit of Cinderella here as well, but like inverting it, right? Because this is like a pumpkin carriage, right? But it's carrying one of the evil stepsisters according to the metaphor, right? It's meant to be somebody from lower social class getting to go to the ball for one day. In this way, that doesn't happen in this case, right? Instead, the Cinderella in question gets trampled. Again, Yuri appears singing her own name, trampling on you in the process. Remember, Tabuki and me are fabulous Max, you'll never hope to compare. Again, very classic fairy tale stuff too here, just again subverting it. Instead of a, you know, frog prince, we've got a giant frog crushing my dreams, right, of ever associating with such a prince, right? Again, wanting to stop these two from, you know, making out essentially, right? From consummating, kissing the hand there, right? And again, show me you can bear his child if you can't stand losing to me. What a crazy thing to say, Delusion. And again, almost this like Frankenstein-esque horror tone to it now as well, the kind of the lightning outside cracking down again upon you again, think I'm gonna go sexually assault this guy right now. That's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go on my own maternity mission to bear Tabuki's child. It's a creative symbol of love, of course, something to symbolize a couple that just got married and started living under the same roof. I'm gonna go through this little trapdoor. I'm going to offer him a certain flower of types, right? Do you see what I'm getting at there? And yeah, see if he wants to, do it. Yeah, we'll be just like mom and dad in that regard. But they're kind of like, mom's fucking hating it, actually. Dad doesn't really care. He's like, whatever. So we don't get to see who's under the covers here. I'm going to think it's something like Yuri's already in there or something. Because again, I can't imagine that we're going to do a Tabuki has sex with Ringo story. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it wouldn't be surprising, I guess, with this show and the directions it goes pretty frequently. That was great. The two best episodes thus far, I would say. The freakiest. They're fucked up. There's frogs everywhere. There's fucking sex everywhere. There's penguins everywhere. It's very interesting to talk about. Yeah. And again, I really want discussion on this show, because I'm really liking it. So I want to hear what people think. But again, just try not to lean spoilery, I guess. That's kind of my word of warning, so to say. We'll return next week. There will be Patreon for more. I'm loving it. It's really good, but it scares me. These always they're high brain power sessions. They really take it out of me. So yeah, I'm gonna go lie down now or something. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Discord, Patreon, like the video, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.